Hello, Grow Squad, and welcome back to another episode of the 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐽 podcast. Hope you're doing well. Hope that you're in great health, and I hope that you're growing, and glowing every single day. Thank you so much just for your support. Thank you for your viewership. In fact, let me say a word about that viewership. Some of you right now, in fact, 78% of you right now are not subscribed. Let me invite you to join the Grow Squad. Let me invite you right now to just click that button, click that subscribe button, and also that notification button, because we've got some new and exciting things coming out. I've got a new ebook that's out right now. I've got some merch that I want to send to you. I've got some things that I think that you would benefit from if you become an official member of the Grow Squad. Thank you for all current Grow Squad members. Thank you for future Grow Squad members. And thank you for you, whomever you are, viewing today. Thank you for your time. I know you could be doing anything else, listening to anybody else, but thank you for your time today. Thank you for tuning in. As you're tuning in, don't forget that our book that we're promoting for this season is High Performance Habits by Brendon Burchard. Don't forget to check it out. If you're looking for some systems and routines to help you reach your goals, move forward in life, I encourage you to check it out. Let's go ahead and pray and move forward together as we spend the next few moments dialoguing. God, we thank you for today. Thank you that we can come together and we can discuss, we can pick our brains, we can discover new and exciting things about ourselves, and also we can discover some things about ourselves that we may need to check into. Thank you so much for all that you do for us. Thank you so much for the life that you've given to us. I ask now that you bless my friends who are tuning in. May something be shared with them that will completely help them through situations that they're going through right now. In your name, amen. Today, we're going to talk about one mistake that many people make. Check this out. After achieving success. Yeah, one mistake people make that may be killing their happiness, their excitement, and their joy, and they've actually experienced some level of success. Have you ever met someone like that? They've got the big house, they've got the big car, they've gotten the promotion, they've gotten the money, they've opened the business, and they still seem to be down in the dumps. Have you ever met somebody like that? It blows my mind oftentimes when I meet people like that, because for so long in my life, growing up the way that I grew up and growing up where I grew up, I would often look at people, whether it be on television or people that I would meet when I went out of town. I'm like, oh, wow, they must be happy. They've got all these external things. They must be glowing every single day. As I'm looking at football players, I remember the first time I was shocked and never connected. Again, if you are familiar with my story, I grew up down south, late 80s, early 90s, where there was a big sweep. The crack epidemic hit lower income, poverty-stricken black neighborhoods across America. There's no secret. You can Google it. You can look it up online, whatever you want to do. During the late 80s, early 90s, that crack cocaine epidemic was something serious. So the first time I heard somebody who had a lot of money using crack cocaine, I'm saying to myself, that don't make sense to me. In my mind, I'm saying to myself, why would somebody who's a millionaire, big house, nice family, big cars, why would they feel the need to engage in illegal substances to fill a void? They're unhappy? What? The news said what? And one of my favorite guys, man, I wasn't even a Cowboy fan. Still not a Dallas. Don't get it twisted. I'm a New Orleans Saints fan through and through. Not a Dallas Cowboys fan, but because I lived in Louisiana and Texas is right next door, they would show a lot of Dallas Cowboys games. The first time I heard about number 88, man, in a hotel room, snorting cocaine lines with people that he had paid to be with him. I'm like, man, wow, what's going on? And if you're in this position where you've experienced success, but you're no longer happy, I've got a word for you today. Yeah. If you are in a position where you've experienced some kind of success, right? Whether you finally got the degree, you've worked hard to get your master's, your doctoral degree, whatever it is. Many times people find themselves unhappy because what they thought was on the other side of achieving that goal isn't there. Yeah. Many people that I've met who are unhappy or don't have the glow that they once had while they were struggling, scrapping and scraping to reach the goal. The reason why some of them have lost that drive, that joy, is because once they finally reach that mountaintop, it was funny because I've talked about this guy before, Wallow267. He talked about how they finally got the big deal, the big media deal that they had been working for since he was released from prison. If you don't know anything about his story, man, awesome story of resilience, overcoming adversity. I mean, this guy really came from the bottom. And he said, man, once I got released from prison, I made it up in my mind that I was not going to stop until I reached this goal. And once he got this huge check cut, the biggest check he'd ever seen in his life. I mean, a check that was so big that generations will eat off that check. He said, man, it didn't feel the way I thought it was going to feel. I got a check for several $1 million and went to McDonald's. It didn't do for me what I thought it was going to do for me. And some people, studies are showing, find themselves unhappy even with achieving success because they have, number one, unmet expectations. They thought that with success, with the grind, all of a sudden they thought that, hey, I'm going to reach this pinnacle, this point in my journey, this point in my life, and all of my problems are going to disappear. Nah. One of the things that's most disheartening when you see individuals who have all this money, all these resources, and their loved ones still pass away. Yeah, their money couldn't reverse whatever the ailment was, or their money couldn't stop the car wreck, or their money couldn't stop the bullet. They still have to go through and face real life issues. Or you can have all the money in the world and the expectation that you're going to have this perfect family. And all of a sudden you realize my kids are just as mischievous as the person who don't have my kind of money. Or I got all this money and my spouse should be happy every day, all day. And you realize and recognize, nah, that ain't the case. So sometimes people are unhappy even after achieving success because they have unmet expectations. Number two, or another reason why is because they lack purpose. In other words, there are people who I know, who I've had the privilege of meeting, who want success, they want money, they want fame, but they just want it. Yeah, they're not trying to bless anybody else. They're not trying to help anybody else. They're not trying to. They don't have any purpose. There's no why behind their grind. They're just grinding. They lack purpose. Another reason why people are sort of unhappy even after they achieve success is because they compare themselves to other people who are supposedly successful. And I read this quote over and over again throughout my lifetime. Comparison is the thief of joy. So you start comparing yourself, comparing bank accounts, comparing houses, comparing, comparing love life, comparing different things that should not be compared. Your life, your path is your path. But sometimes people lose joy because they spend so much time comparing their story. It's funny because I went to pick my son up the other day, and he showed me his work for the day. And on one sheet of paper, he had 2 handprints. I said, "Oh man, good job, buddy." Poop. And I'm thinking that they just dip their hand in paint or whatever it is and put their hand. I think we used to do it when I was a little kid, and it was kind of like looking at measuring your hand size. But as we were walking out, the teacher said, "Oh, did he tell you? Did he tell you why they have their handprints?" I said, "No." They said, "Oh no, we were talking about how everybody has different fingerprints and different DNA." I said, "Y'all were teaching the little babies, the 3.5-year-olds?" She said, "Oh yeah. We were teaching them how to appreciate their differences. Your hand size, even at the same age, is different than this person's hand size, and nobody has the same fingerprints." But we live in a world where everybody wants to be like everybody else. Everybody wants to have the same fingerprints, the same story, the same this, the same that. We got a bunch of copycatters. So sometimes people lose their spunk, their joy, their focus in life because they spend their time comparing themselves. And then another reason why people seem to lose their spunk, their spark when they achieve success, because nobody warned them that sometimes it's lonely at the top. How many people you've met or heard of or gave a documentary about how, man, all of a sudden these people didn't like me, or these haters came out the woodworks because I had achieved my goals? Well, how do we combat that? How do we reverse that trend of people being unhappy even after they've achieved success? First thing you've got to do, are you ready? Yeah. You got to stop tying your self-worth to external achievements. Whew. Yeah. I'm going to pause right there. You've got to stop tying your self-worth to what you're driving. You got to stop tying your self-worth to what you live in. You got to stop tying your self-worth to your ability to go buy this big bag or these. It's the same stuff. And how many people we know, man? 2 episodes ago, I told you about the fact that I thought that I wanted these expensive Nikes when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, I should say, because all my friends at school were going back to school with these new Nike, whatever they had on. And I was like, "Daddy, I got to get some." And he made me go to work and earn the money. And I finally got to the store and I was like, "You know what? Forget that. That's too much money for those. That's not going to make me a better athlete, a better person. I'm not going to get more girlfriends because I've got those shoes on. Forget that. Let me go buy what I can afford." Because my self-worth was not tied to, right? I realized that in that moment, my self-worth, I'm worthy of everything else everybody else gets, not because of what I got on, but because of who I am. But if there's one thing that's robbing people of happiness, if there's one thing that's robbing people of joy, even after they've achieved success, is they're now tying their worth to that success. Stop it. Stop tying your self-worth to the championship. Stop tying your self-worth to the promotion. Stop tying your self-worth to the demotion. Stop tying your self-worth to the achievement. Achieving success, secondly, can sometimes create unrealistic expectations that are internal. Another one of my favorite humans, man. This brother is changing the world. But he talked about the fact that he made a promise to his mother on her deathbed that after a few years, he finally had to let that promise go because it was killing him. In other words, he'd achieved a certain level of success financially, and he promised his mom on her deathbed, I got everybody. I'm going to take care of everybody. And in his quest to take care of everybody, people got more. They became more greedy and thought they became more entitled. So he's trying to take care of everybody out of the kindness of his heart. And there are these unrealistic expectations that he brought upon himself that he had to say, you know what? I'm gonna either lose my health or lose my mind, which is your health as well. Trying to meet these unrealistic expectations. There's no reason for me to put this stress on me and my family. Forget that. I'm gonna help when I can. Achieving success sometimes can bring about unrealistic expectations, and you need to free yourself from it today. Do it right now. Stop thinking that because you've achieved success, you got to save the world. You cannot save the world. But if there was one person that could save the world, one human that could save the world by themselves, they would have been done it. You can't save the world. You can only brighten the corner where you are. So when we focus too much on external achievements, when we focus too much on what success we have, we oftentimes can lose sight of what really brings about joy and true fulfillment in life. One of the biggest mistakes we can ever make is thinking that somehow joy and happiness will appear because of the fact that, hey, we are now attracting other successful people. But we got to redefine this thing. We got to retool our thinking. We got to retool our understanding of success and realize and recognize that success should not put us in a position where we're more stressed and more unfulfilled, but success should put us in a position where we are happy, we are joyful, and that we can celebrate supporting other people along the way. So think about this. The next time you achieve something, and thankfully you're always achieving great things, but the next time you achieve something great, remind yourself that you were somebody before you achieved the great thing. I'm always using sports as an example. It's interesting that somehow people are only recognized after they win a championship. And I get them, and trust me, I understand it, but didn't you know that they were a great player, a great person before the championship? All of a sudden, oh, this person's great. All of a sudden, this person's a great dad. All of a sudden, this person's a great philanthropist. I think I said that right. This person's now all of a sudden a great human because they won a championship. No, they were doing this before they won the championship. You just didn't recognize it because, again, oftentimes people who are on the outside looking in, they tie your success to achievements and then you buy into it. Yeah. Oftentimes the people around us, they make us feel like we're somebody. I gave this analogy before. I'll give it again. Oftentimes when we go to the barbershop, who's talked about? If you've never been to the barbershop, the person that's talked about is the star athlete, no matter what sport it is. Well, I lied. They don't talk about star golfers or star tennis players. They talk about the star basketball player, football player, or sometimes the star baseball player in my neighborhood. That's it. But the person that's a star in academics, they're not recognized as much as the person that's dunking on the basketball court or scoring touchdowns on the football field or hitting homers on the baseball diamond. Many times the person that won the science fair does not get the same support as the person that scored the winning touchdown. And sometimes when we tie our worth to that stuff, here's what I'm saying. Sometimes when we tie our worth to that or our importance to that stuff, we find ourselves getting down on ourselves because, hear me out, I just said it before, I'll say it again. You're not supposed to tie your self-worth to those achievements. But you've got to know every single day of your life, as you're breathing, as you're climbing, as you're moving, that you're special. You're worthy. You're important. You are somebody, whether you achieve success or not. So I want you to chew on this for the rest of the week. I want you to take to heart for the rest of the week and beyond and ask yourself, am I guilty of tying my self-worth to what other people think about me? If you are, you're out of order, and I encourage you to correct yourself. If in fact you are tying your self-worth to external achievements. Now, I love the Olympics. I remember there was one girl, I can't remember where she was or which country she was representing, but she didn't win a medal. All right. And somehow I think the only reason she was interviewed is because they thought she was going to win either gold, silver, or bronze. Like she was projected to win one of the top 3 medals, but she placed like 5th. And she said something in the interview that set the tone for the rest of, I believe, those that were watching, in so much as she said, you know what, I'll just be ready next time. I'm still somebody. I'm still a world-class runner or whatever. I'm not sure. I don't think it was running, but I'm still a world-class athlete. I don't think I'm any less or any more than anybody else. I came here, I did my job, and I still have my chin held high. My chest is stuck out, and I'm going to walk out of here knowing full well that I'll be back. In other words, her success is not tied to holding a medal around her neck. That would have been great. That would have been awesome for her country. That would have been awesome for her as a personal achievement. But she says the best achievement, the best thing I can do for myself is not tie my self-worth to that stuff. But to know that I'm still somebody, no matter the outcome. So as you move forward, share this with your kids, share this with your neighbor, share this with your coworkers. Share it with somebody who needs a reminder of what real happiness is all about. But somebody that needs a reminder of the reality that, hey, success is not tied to stuff. What's happening in your head and your heart is what really matters. Thank you again for tuning in this week, man. I hope that, again, you were benefited by something that was shared. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Check out the show notes below. There are some exciting links there, some things that are happening. Again, thank you those who are part of the Growth Squad, those who are still thinking, go ahead and do it. Stop contemplating. Don't sleep on it again. Go ahead and click that button right now. Let your friends know that great things are happening right here with the Growth Squad. See you next time. You all go be great. Peace.